Got 10 minutes? Welcome to Anchored Web, smart tips to grow your business online.
Welcome to the Anchored Web Podcast. I'm Adrian, and this is where I talk about ways to make your web presence work better for your business. So in this first episode, I want to talk about something, I want to take a simple topic for each of these episodes and really go into something that I think can help you just on your own. And so for today's episode, I want to talk about the lowly contact form on your website. So you own a business, you have a website, and maybe your website is an active part of your business and it's generating leads for you, or maybe it's just sitting there and there's really nothing going on with it. You launched it, it looks great maybe, and you really love it maybe, love the way it looks, and all that's taken care of, but the form itself maybe isn't generating any interest. There's no form submissions coming in, or worse, you don't even know that it's happening. So let's get started on this episode called Let the Website Do the Work, and it's about the contact form. So it might seem like a simple topic, like, okay, we have a form, it's on our webpage, and people fill it out. What's the problem? And yeah, for the most part, that is basically what we want to do, and certainly that's all we want the person visiting your site to feel like is happening. Okay, I want to contact them. Look, there's a form. I can type in some stuff and hit send, and they'll feel like, hey, it went to the person that I wanted it to, or it went to somebody. But really taking care of that, technically, there's a lot of little nuances in there that you might not even be thinking about. So if you have a website with a contact form, this is something you're going to want to think about and maybe look into today. Check out on your website and see if it's doing what you think it should be doing. So here are some things that could be going wrong with your form and things that you need to look at, that I look at for all my clients when we launch a site. I'm testing this when we launch, and I'm regularly monitoring sites to keep things like this working fine. So does your form send emails to you? I mean, obviously, if somebody fills it out, you're going to want to see that communication. So is that email, which email is it going to, first of all, and is it making it to the inbox, or is it in the spam box? Is it showing up in your inbox as the business owner, or whoever you're designating? Is it showing up as suspicious? Is it showing up with full credentials? Why isn't it if it's not? And, the email world is a very different world than the web world. There's a lot of technicalities to making sure an email works that's different than it works on the web. And so for some people, it's kind of like a mystery of how to make that work. But with your website, sending emails, we got to make sure it's going through. On top of sending the email, it might be a good idea for you to figure out if you can, or if you can enable the settings to log the submissions somewhere in the back end in a database. If the email is working today, doesn't mean that it will work tomorrow. Emails themselves can be finicky. So it's a good idea that before that message that is typed in by a visitor of your site even tries to leave the site, it would be great to capture that, save it somewhere, just in case something else fails along its journey into your inbox. So logging submissions is another thing that you would want to do. Okay, we want to have a look at the fields that you're collecting on your form page. So, the standard fields, the necessary fields is probably a name and an email, right? Name, email, but you could also ask for a phone number, you could ask for an address, you could ask for their social security number, and there's so many things you could ask for. It's all up to you that what you want to do. Now, of course, bringing it up in that way, I'm trying to point to the idea that there's a balance of how much of what you're trying to collect and what you think is going to be comfortable to the person who's on that page. And so there are a lot of strategies we can use. So first of all, if you don't need certain information, it's not even a good idea to put a field asking for it. If you don't need to know their address just for them to contact you, then asking for their address or putting that field on the page next to their name and their email does sort of imply or create some sort of pressure for them that they should be putting that down, and that could make a person want to turn away. So if you really don't need that information, then it's probably better not to ask for it and to go ahead and get their contact info and then follow up with more the information you need. In terms of following up, you don't have to make it a follow-up. You could have a multi-page form, or you could have like a 2-form system where the first form is very easy, name, email, hit send. And then when they click that, their thank you page is actually another form that has more fields to fill out. So the fields that you put on your page, if there are too many, you're driving people away from filling it out. If it's not enough, you're not getting enough information for you to be able to act on. So there's a balance there, and you want to think about that balance. And you want to think about how your form is designed to help you bring people along that path. In terms of what you're filling out and the fields that you're putting on the page, again, going back to some of my examples, you could ask for their social security number. If you do, then all of a sudden you as a business with a website are subject to privacy laws and things like that. So it's called personally identifiable information, or PII. And so dealing with your web form and the privacy information you collect, that's another reason not to collect any information you don't need. But of course, if you do need that information, or if it's just part of your business to collect that and you want to do that through your website, other than HIPAA laws, if you're medical or anything like that, healthcare, if you are just a general business but you want to collect certain information that might be considered personally identifiable, you do have to have a privacy policy on your website that explains what you would do with that information, whether you would sell it and what you would do in case of a breach, things like that. And so those are pretty simple, but in California, they're required for any site that is collecting PII. And of course, I'm not a lawyer, so you're going to want to check with a legal professional about all this stuff.
Book time for free at anchoredweb.com/booking. No pressure.
And one more thing about forms is, when it's working well, that's awesome. And then you start getting people filling it out, but you also get robots finding it and filling it out, right? All of those spam things. And the form itself, when it's working for everything, including robots. So what you can do with that is a thing called Google reCAPTCHA. And there's a lot of different CAPTCHAs out there. People have different opinions about which one is the best. What you do is you set up a form, and then you attach to that form a little human bot check. Sometimes that can be done silently off to the side of the screen, or it can be right on the form itself with the person being challenged to check a box or pick some pictures or something like that. Generally, we just want that out of the way on the side of the screen. And when I've had clients who say, hey, thanks for the website and the form is working, I'm getting a lot of spam, I will turn on or go and implement a reCAPTCHA, and then those things fall down to a trickle. You can't stop random people who just are trolling the internet for opportunities to solicit for their business. So those are actual humans who are going to your site and typing in their pitch and using CAPTCHA. So it doesn't stop spam from happening, but it certainly stops a bunch of the automated spam from reaching your inbox. So once the user has filled out the form and they click that send button or submit button, so are they getting to a thank you page or getting a message that says that they've received it? Is it saying when they should expect a response? These things that are important for you to leave a good impression. This is one of your first impressions with a potential client or customer. And after they've submitted something, if there's not a message that says, hey, thank you, we've got it, and we should be following up soon, they may not feel acknowledged, and that's not leaving a really good impression. Also, the email that you're getting, what does that look like? Is it easy to scan? Is it labeled clearly so you know it's from the website? That's also important. And are they getting a follow-up email as well that leaves them with something? So that's another aspect that some people miss, is dealing with what happens after the submission is sent. Okay, well, that's it for now. If you have a topic or something of interest that you think that I should cover, just let me know. You can check me out on my website. And yeah, see you next time. Thanks for listening. You can explore more at anchoredweb.com.